You know, the interesting thing about what we do, what I do, social media, newscasting, information gathering, reporting, is that there are so many different styles. I think that's what separated it from legacy media, corporate media. It became cookie cutter. Everyone had the same way of speaking, the same weird anchor accent you had to have. And one of the ways that I really, really appreciate on here is your Luke Beasley's or your Midas Touch. They have a way of giving you succinct information, staying calm, staying composed, even while giving you the most heart-wrenching or devastating news. I appreciate that. But I don't see myself as that kind of channel. I see what I do as being an avatar of your anger sometimes, your elation sometimes, and your rage sometimes. Because when you're looking at the stupid people, right? When you're looking at the fools that are ruining the world around you, that are stomping on the dreams that you have, and you look at someone tell you that they're stomping on it, but not in the same manner that you're hearing it, it's disconcerting sometimes. And sometimes you need someone like me to say, yes, I feel that way about this. That's how I see what I do. That's how I see what I do is different, but still necessary. Right now, it's 8:40 in the a.m. in Georgia, and we're being told what used to be a tropical storm, Debby, after being heated up by the warmed waters due to climate change, has now become a Category 1 hurricane and is ruining and devastating the panhandle of Florida. And as it rises and goes into Georgia, the experts are saying to expect an unbelievable amount of flooding. People should leave. It's dangerous. And Brian Kemp says he wants to issue a state of emergency. Is it really a state of emergency? I'm wondering, huh? I can't stay calm then because I'm wondering the emergency was 30 years ago. It doesn't seem like an emergency to me, is what I'm saying. It's only an emergency when people are dying and property is lost, when lives and legacies are lost. The businesses that could have changed over 30 years ago to help mitigate this. That wasn't expensive, and that was too expensive, excuse me. To make a few changes here and there in legislation was too expensive. But you cry to mommy now and say you want to issue a state of emergency so the millions that could have been done 30 years ago to mitigate this kind of damage is now an emergency, and you're willing to pay for it because the lives of those animals, the unclothed, the unwashed, poor people that you despise in your party, but use them to elect you, is cheaper than it would have been to just have a few more regulations 30 years ago. Isn't it an emergency, Brian Kemp? I'm wondering. Is it a state of emergency or not? As Governor DeSantis says, expect more of these. These are the same people who told you for 50 years that smoking doesn't cause cancer. Are you wondering why they're telling you that carbon and humans aren't causing climate change? Because it makes them an extra buck. Because they don't have to pay for the death when it comes. Because their families live on a hill. And our families live in the valley. Is it a state of emergency? It doesn't look like it. Not to me. Doesn't look like it to me. We're still wondering what's causing climate change 30 years later. I wish I could just be calm and report that news to you. Hurricane Debby is coming. See, Category 1 could have been a lot worse, sure. Tell that to the next dead person, to the next person who lost all of what they had in a flood. Tell that to the people in South Georgia. Hey, it could have been worse. Doop-de-doo. While you issue a state of emergency, you unbelievably wretched and rancid governor of a wretched and rancid party built on the destruction and hatred of poor people, the abuse and the manipulation of poor people. Those same poor people who vote for you and believed you because it made them feel better that they weren't a part of this climate change thing. That laughs in the face of people just trying to drive electric cars, which won't help because the companies are the ones that have the most to do with it. But the poor people who see it happening but cannot control the idiots around them get cold rolled in Texas. As you have been the bane of the existence of American society with your lies and your greed. The only state of emergency you're willing to issue is when it's time to clean up and sweep up the dead poor people that you piss on for $1. And you're still wondering, do humans cause climate change, and can we afford it? State of emergency. That's the news this morning from Georgia. Get out now. But don't expect anything to be done about it. Unless you're willing to run up that hill where they live and change the residents.